Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Loron Orris. I work with a company called Asia Sports Tech. We do consulting around market entry strategies, growth and innovation, and as well we do financial advisory. And I'm here to discuss immersive sports, the rise of sim racing, with Leonardo Bernasconi. He is the co-founder and CTO of a company called TELEIOS. And what we're going to talk to you about today is the immersive sports and growth of immersive sports. Now, some of you say, okay, what are immersive sports? Well, what immersive sports are is this, it's really the phygital world, we call it. So it's physical activity tied in with the digital world. And there's actually a lot of this going on, and it's going to be a growing trend we see even larger. It's happened with cycling. It's also happening, so cycling, you're seeing like Zwift, there's the global competitions. You're also seeing competitions in different types of sports, like even triathlons. There was one recently here in Singapore where they did some of it virtual, some of it actual in the water. And one of the areas where we're seeing a lot of it is in sim racing. So what we're going to talk to you about today is really what's happening around the sim racing space and why there's so much transfer of this into from both the real world but also into the metaverse starting up. So Leonardo's here to launch TELEIOS. This is their launch in Asia. And as Prakash said earlier, there's definitely some sims outside. There's another room where there's another 3, and you've got to go and try it out. But anyway, why don't we dive in? So Leonardo, tell me about the TELEIOS story, because it's pretty amazing.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the invitation, Loron. It's a pleasure to be here. And I want to make long story short because it's pretty interesting how TELEIOS started. Basically, it was the early 2020 when the COVID happened, and all the real drivers, all the real racers were stuck at home without the possibility to go on the real tracks. And so what happened? All their time spent on the track was spent on the sim racing at the time. And we saw the potential of this really, really interesting market. And we came in a period where all the simulators, the hardware was not current with the real motorsport world, because the motorsport world, it's a combination of design, of performance, of technology. And at the time, the sim racing was just technology itself. And so we decided to revolutionize a little bit the concept of the simulator. And we came in with a new product that is merging these 3 aspects, so design, technology, and performance in a single product. And you can see the products out there, but we pointed our attention on the customization side and on making the thing tailored on the person. We started from back of a garage in March 2020, and with a really limited budget, we bring together the team to build the product and to build the company itself. We started with less than 60,000 euros investment, and right now we have a big company in UAE. We moved from Italy to UAE in late 2021. We have employees from more than 15 nationalities, and we are really pushing our product across various markets. And officially, from today, we are also open for the orders from Asia. So,
which is great.
Yeah.
And so what he's also not telling you is this is an aerospace engineer and as well a former karter. And his co-founder is the world karting champion in 2020. So you can see this real authenticity of what they're creating. Now tell me another part about what's the crossover between racing on a sim and actually racing in real life? What are some of the similarities?
Yeah, for sure one thing that I can affirm is that nowadays the sim racing is part of the real driver's life. It's something that they should do in order to improve their skills and their capabilities in order to go on the real track and perform. I think the simulation level of sim racing is really high. It's at least 85% of the reality. Of course, we miss one important thing, that is the G-force. That is something that is almost impossible to replicate when you're standing in a stationary setup, And but what I can affirm is that sim racing is the most the closer virtual experience to a real sport that you can have. you have the steering wheel, you have the pedals, you are immersed in the cockpit of the car, and you just miss the sensation of like the G-force. But all the other things, the other inputs are there, and you can feel it, and you can actually like improve yourself and go in the real and make your like performance better. So I think the potential is great, and like is part of the real like driver experience. Yeah.
You know, what's interesting is when you're actually driving, you get the full feedback through the steering wheel. And so you go over bumps, you're feeling it, you crash, you feel it. And so that's a key part, is just the feeling of it. But the other key part in terms of the racing is understanding and memorizing the racetrack. So there's certainly a lot of similarity there. Certainly, sim racing is growing globally. What do you think that is one of the reasons for that?
For me, like the reason number one is that motorsport is probably the most inaccessible sport in the world because it's so expensive and it's so like centralized in some areas of the world. But like sim racing can like open the barriers of motorsport to everyone because it's much cheaper. You just need to make a little investment and you can race as much as you want from like your living room or your bedroom. And this is something that it's amazing because if you can turn the most expensive sport in a sport that is like open to inclusion of people from all over the world with different budgets, like without caring about your wallet, but just caring about like your capabilities and your skills. I think like it's really the revolution of this world, and thanks also to like the growing interest in the main series like F1. I think like in the Abu Dhabi GP last year there were more like single viewers than the Super Bowl, so this means that they're making good numbers, and like all these features together like can really let you understand what is the potential of this sector and where it can arrive.
And certainly, you know, one of the other key things too is this development, and we'll also discuss Web3 and what's going to happen in the metaverse, because of course that's next, and it's starting to happen. But you know, imagine the day when people actually can design their own tracks and get paid for that, things of that nature, design their own cars. But of course, TELEIOS is not just about the sims, it's also about a platform. So can you tell us a little bit about the platform and how that'll work in the metaverse?
Yeah, we are like working on a project that is still confidential, it's still not disclosed to the public, but is concerning a multiplayer platform, and as you say, like the Web3 and the metaverse are like really close to this kind of reality because we can have a lot of digital assets on it, like cars, trucks. We can like create a sort of metaverse related to the racing itself, and it's something that we are building to bring people, in order to bring people together online, because nowadays there is no like reference point for motorsport as an online platform. And we saw this opportunity, and we are working hard since January 2021 in order to bring this together, and in December or like late November of this year, you will for sure hear about it because it's a global project, and yeah, it will be quite a revolution for the motorsport also, because what is our goal is to bring people together and to catch the talents in order to arrive, like in order to bring them from like everywhere in the world and give them like the possibility to scale in the motorsport world, and maybe one day arrive in F1 without like investing crazy money from their pocket, because like just a few have the possibility nowadays to do it, you know.
Yeah, certainly some of the challenges for those, for example, who start out early, they kart, and then they can do well, and I think they start as young as 3 years old or 4 years old, they're racing around the track, but to get to that next level is literally can be $1 million or $2 million a year. And so we are seeing some people that are doing sim racing actually getting a shot to go and race on some larger platforms or some higher formats. I think we were talking a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's definitely like the sim racing is definitely the tool that can open these doors. I mean, there is no other way really to access this world in a cheapest and in a most inclusive way. So I think like the future is bright for sim racing, and we are on it. And I want you to have a little taste of what is the experience of like these technologies, so you can come and test our simulators for these 3 days. So you're welcome, guys.
That's great. Thanks, Leonardo, and thanks, everyone. And please come out and try the sims just outside the door and just down the walk there. See you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.